And good morning, everybody. How are you? Good to see everybody. Michael, good to see you. Robin, Bonnie, Diana, Judy. Good that everybody is here. So glad that we're back on Monday. How is everybody? Waiting for a few more people to come in. I can't see today for whatever reason. It's not showing me who's on YouTube. Hey, Chessie, not showing me how many. Usually there's a number total or whatever. Good to see everyone. Waiting just for a few more people to come on in. Come on in. Good morning, Robin Gailey. How are you? Miss Jennifer, thank you, Diana. I miss being here on Friday, but I couldn't see too well, but I can kind of sort of see a little bit better, but it's ridiculous. I have this, I thought it was a retinal tear, and as it turns out, oh, my husband just said hello to you. Thank you, Judy. Tell your husband hi for me. Um, and it's a floater that's huge. It's huge. It takes up like my whole eye, and it was so weird because good morning, Tim. I watched as the thing was created in my eye. It was the most bizarre thing that I've ever seen. It was like I could see it like a silhouette forming in my eye, and it was the whole it's like it's really gross, but it's like this round circle with tentacles, and it formed right before my eyes, and I could watch it as it was forming. Never had that happen. I've had floaters before, nothing like this. But I had to go to an ophthalmologist, and they, look at it and all that, and it's a floater. So I'm praying that it goes away. I have those floaters too. Nothing you can do. You just have to get used to it. Are you banned from YouTube? Not yet, Melanie. Well, sometimes floaters go away. Mine tend to never go away. But I am also going to be trying this thing that the doctor told me to try. And for all of you listening, you may want to try it. I can't tell you whether it works or whatever, but it's called bromelain, Bromelain. Bromelain, and what it is, it's pineapple enzymes, and it's supposed to eat the protein in your eye. And the doctor said that she didn't know how well it would work because they've talked about it, and she's seen things on it, but there haven't been studies or anything else. So I went ahead and ordered it. It's supposed to get here today. Good morning, Bruce. My dude either never had it recently. Large floaters, yeah, they were stars from your hubby, yeah. But so anyway, well, I'm praying that the pineapple will work, but I'm continuing to pray to God for healing. That's really what I think is going to cause it to go away. Anything, but like I said, I've had floaters pretty much my whole life, but this is something that I've never seen. It literally takes up my whole eye and goes down in the field of vision every now and then. I thought it was so much in there and like a film almost that I thought it was a retinal tear for sure. But you said nope, couldn't find you on YouTube. Well, that's because I wasn't on Friday, Melanie. I went to the eye doctor instead because I thought I had a retinal tear. Bonnie said I had floaters, ended up having the Fuchs dystrophy, and had to have corneal transplants. Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, the doctor said to me, if you want to have do the laser surgery or the other surgery, whatever, you could have that removed. But she said, I wouldn't recommend it because after all, it is eye surgery. And, yeah, I'm just going to live with it. All right. Let me quickly read a little bit of Matthew 24, then we'll get started. Now, as he sat on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, tell us when will these things be, and what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age? And Jesus answered and said to them, take heed that no one deceives you, not even your government. He didn't say that, but I'm sure that's probably what he meant. Don't be deceived by anyone. For many will come in my name, saying, I am the, and will deceive many. And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. But the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. All right. Amen. Amen. It's called what again? It's B as in boy, bromelain, BROMELEIN. I think, let me just make sure if I can find what I ordered really quickly. I ordered one that is here's exactly what I ordered. Let me put it up on the screen for you. Anybody wants to go there. And then you'll have exactly what I ordered. And I could only, gosh, every time I do this, I have to log in. Can you see that, Bruce? If not, gosh, it's not allowing me to put it up there. Okay, hold on one second. It's making me log in every time. Eat pineapple, have a day better for you. Yeah, I'm not going to be eating pineapple every day. Pineapple goes bad. Bruce, here's what I will do. I will put this for you on Facebook because it's not allowing me to put messages in there today. For some reason, it's acting a little screwy over there in Restream. So I will leave that for you on Facebook. In fact, I'm doing it right now. And then we will get started. We have a lot in the news, that's for sure. A lot's been happening. And there you go, Bruce. It's right now, it's in your Facebook instant messages for you. So I guess I'm not going to be able to put anything in there today. Yeah. There's the brand I ordered, Bruce, that's in your Facebook one. That's the one she'd recommended. No, it's BROMELAIN or LEIN, I mean. Okay, good morning, Christian soldiers. Hello, Sally. Hello, Gary. Good to see you. Ewitty, good morning. Good to see you. All right. Now I want to go right now to some breaking news. This is what's happening right now in Rockton, Illinois. This just happened a few minutes ago. A large blaze at the Kim Tool plant in Rockton, Illinois after a massive explosion. Evacuations ordered. You can see how massive that is. That is unbelievable. I mean, good Lord. I can't imagine how they're going to get that out. One little truck there spraying water on it is probably not going to do it. Not a firefighter, but that would be my guess. It is not going to work. Not going to happen. Maybe try something else. But hopefully there were no injuries, but you can see this is an area where a business area. Don't know how many houses are in the neighborhood and what's around them, but boy, this does not look good at all. Praying for those people there and hope that they get out. Rocky internet storms here. Chessie said you can freeze pineapple and set it up for one day at a time using the freezer. Canned. Oh, good. It's good to know. Hey, Jules. Yeah, BROMELIEN, bromelain. All right. Now, another thing that I want to tell you is that Barbara Bilbray, I think we mentioned it, but I'm not sure. Her husband did pass away last week. Please pray for her as she's going through assuredly a hard time. She's been through, with her grandson and his accident. Just a really rough go of it. And now her husband passed away. And her husband's name is David, seemed like the greatest guy, the way she described who he is, who he was. And so please pray for her and her family time of their need. So, all right. Also today is Flag Day and President Trump's birthday, all on the same day. So wishing everybody there, Trump and everybody, happy birthday on whoever has a birthday today. All right, let's get into a little bit of just how that GS summit is going. Yeah, Sally, not good. He died of a rare lung disease is my understanding of it. So they kind of knew that, time was short. And I guess he had said this past Christmas that this might be his last Christmas. So Judy said, Lord Jesus, let her know the joy of her husband being with you. Absolutely. Fly your American-made American flag only, James said. Sally said, I think that's nice. His birthday is on Flag Day. Yep. Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right. So let's look at the GS Summit and how successful Oh my gosh. How proud you must be as an American watching the GS summit. So here are some photos that are supposedly from that summit. And let me bring this up for you to see and scroll through. So here's for the cameras because, we're just idiots. We've got to pretend that, oh gosh, we do this little elbow bump and we're so, don't you just, when you see this, doesn't everything scream strength and manliness and masculinity? Oh, I know it did for me. Oh my gosh. I was just saying to myself, I'm so glad that we have so many quote unquote men who aren't afraid to get their elbows dirty. It was just wonderful. And yes, that's sarcasm. All right, now on down here further. This is what's really going on. And you see the love for each other. I mean, aren't they cute? Seriously, how cute? No masks, face to face. I mean, wow. Walking arm in arm. I don't, my husband and I probably a lot of times aren't, that close. Let me bring this up a little bit more for you. Yeah, I mean, it was like watching, when I was dating and my husband and I were dating and when we were being like loving to each other. I mean, gosh, doesn't that just scream that to you? What's the illness called that makes me sick when I see these people? Reality, I think, Judy, isn't it? If we now are told to cough into your elbow, why should we touch elbows? Well, you do that with the one you love, James, because, they're spreading. Right here, you can see they're absolutely spreading the love around, right? Ooh, just brings me chills how much these leaders love each other. It's just so great. And then here's some more out of the G7. This will just warm your heart to see this. Let me go ahead and make sure I have that up. Yeah, let me play this for you. Here we go.
How are your meetings going in Cornwall, Mr. President? How are your meetings going here in Cornwall?
Very well.
Come on.
They always do.
Yeah, let's get him away from the limelight because we wouldn't want anybody to know that he doesn't even realize that he's at the G7. One of those days. Had excellent results using eye drops with MSM and vitamin C as active ingredients, Ewitty said. Yeah, so all right, and then we'll just have one more little shot. This will really, I don't know, this will just make your day, I'm sure. Let me get it up, get it loaded for you. Let me see if I can get it there. All right, let me bring this up. This will make your day. Let me just start that again. You can't, don't want to miss this one. So those were the interesting things that came out of the G7. And as you saw there, vaccinated Jill gets out of the car because she's sitting in with the faux Joe, and he's not wearing a veil. She's wearing one because she's with faux Joe, and they've been jabbed and badged and everything else, and yet we got to wear that veil. And did you notice that the Queen, the Queen of England, she wasn't wearing a veil? My day would be made if the real president was back in his rightful office, Melanie said. All right. So let's get on to some better news. I mean, I don't know how you get better than the G7, but let's get on to some better news. This came out this morning for Just News. A judge halts the administration's No Whites Allowed Farmer Debt Relief Program. Remember that program where they were going to give debt relief exclusively to non-white farmers. the judge said, no, that's discrimination. I mean, that's something we're not going to allow. So the judge there in Wisconsin shut that down. How fitting a clown car for a clown show. And it's so sad to know that this is our government. This person represents free, quote unquote, free America in our government. Thank goodness, God bless that judge, Judy. Well, and I imagine they will appeal, but we'll see where that goes. It is purely discrimination. I don't care how you look at it, but we'll see what happens further on down the line. Now, some other information for you. Come on, bring it up there. It's just spinning. It doesn't want to come up. This is the most racist administration we've ever had. Yeah, except maybe for the Obama administration. That was pretty racist. Let me open this back up. 2021 is a showcase of the Participation Trophy Society. Oh gosh. I mean, we've had the participation trophies for quite some time. It's just hard to watch, and it's hard to watch how people are being totally manipulated in society. Let me bring this. Here we go. All right. Let me see if I can get this to work now. Yep, it's working now. Yay. Everything's kind of screwy this morning on this system. All right. So the reporter who broke the story on the Clinton Lynch tarmac meeting, he was found dead. It appears that for whatever reason, he committed suicide. So the body of 45-year-old Christopher Stein, a news anchor for ABC 3340 in Birmingham, was discovered by Hoover police and fire personnel at around 8 a.m. following a 911 call about a person down in a residence in Alabama. So, I mean, I guess it could be like that guy in the gym who kind of, I don't know, he hurt himself and died. Jules said BS. It made local news here in Alabama, Robin said. I think B's is the worst. Yep. Good morning, Susan. Running late today. No worries, Paula. You might want to watch the replay. Just some highlights from the G7. Yeah, so there's another one on the Clinton list of people who just, for whatever reason, kind of unexpectedly passed away. This one, a number of them have been by Sweden, and so is this one. So, all right. Now, I want you to hear, we all know, pretty much all know who Eric Clapton is. And I want you to kind of hear in Eric's own words about something that happened to him and something that he has been going through. So let me bring this up for you. Isn't it ironic that anyone associated with the Clinton dies? Well, I'm sure coincidences happen, Melanie. Father be with his wife and children. Vengeance is yours, Lord, Judy said. He reported multiple death threats. Well, I'm sure, Jules, that was all just going on in his mind. I'm sure they weren't real, And I say that, yes, with sarcasm again. Sorry. Sometimes that's the only way that I can deal with some things, because it's like when you know, and you're told to believe otherwise. So it's hard for me. I use sarcasm in those cases. All right. Now, I want you to hear what Eric Clapton had to say, because, he really has no reason to lie that I know of. This is one of three. I'm just going to play the one. It's about 2 minutes long. And here we go.
I'm Eric Clapton, musician. When it came to the beginning of this year, and the Barrington guys talking about the vaccine as being the deal breaker, and I thought, okay. And I went and had the jab. Within several hours, I was shaking like a leaf. And I went to bed early and I couldn't get warm. And I thought, am I running a fever? I was boiling hot and sweating, and then I was cold. I was out for the count for about a week. I then started to find out more. And it was about that time that I ran into somebody, and he told me about a channel where I could find lots of information and a lot of support. And so I logged on to that. There's a chap called Robin Minotti who runs a channel, and it's for anybody that's concerned or is looking, in my case, looking for support. For me, I felt so alone. until that point, I really couldn't talk to my family and my kids. My teenagers were seeing they'd been brainwashed, and I could feel that everywhere. I could feel alienation because I held a different view. So I was trying to keep my mouth shut, but I was following the channel avidly, and bit by bit I realized that I probably shouldn't have had the first jab, but then I was offered the second, and I thought, well, what's the point in stopping now? So I went and had the second, and then it got really bad. When you know that nothing will work, there's no medication you can take that will help, is very, very frightening. And the worst thing is you don't know when it's going to wear off or when it's going to go away. So that was what frightened me the most, medically, health-wise. I mean, to touch the guitar, to play the guitar is not fun, and it's something I do. Then when I put it down, it's there until I go to bed, and I take sleeping pills because I can't sleep because of the pain, and it's not a good way to live. But and it's not all due to the vaccine, but the vaccine took my immune system and just shook it around again, and that's still going on. I'm a musician.
There you are. And again, I don't know of any reason for him to lie about what's going on. Good morning, Brian C. Good to see you. Yes, it happened to his son years ago. That's where the song Tears in Heaven. No, his son fell from his apartment. That was years and years and years ago. That was bad. So you mean the jab that's supposed to protect? Yes. And again, here's another strange thing that you might want to know. He talked about a person on Twitter, and it showed you that, where he was going to find some support on Twitter, and that the guy was talking a lot about, about what was happening after people took the badge and all that. So he brought up you saw that, the Twitter account. Well, I went to that Twitter account this morning, and there it is. There's a Twitter account that Eric Clapton was talking about, that a guy was doing so much research and giving you so much information about the badge. So, I wonder what got him suspended. I can't even fathom what got him suspended. So he got sick and went and hit. Yeah. And that's, true. It's like Eric, he got the first one, had those issues, and then went back and had the second one. And I guarantee you that there are other people just like him that are doing the same thing, that they'll take it and they have issues and they'll go back again. I had a friend of mine yesterday who texted me and said, I'm sure it's a glitch, Judy. I'm sure they'll get that figured out right away and bring that account back. But she texted me yesterday and said that a member of her church choir had taken the badge and had to be rushed to the ER due to blood clots. And she was in the hospital yesterday, rushed to the ER because of blood clots. I'm sure it had no connection to do with anything having to do with the badge. Yeah, he's a robot now. Well, you heard what he said, Sally? He doesn't even play the guitar anymore. Like Eric Clapton doesn't play the guitar anymore because he's in pain and doesn't want to do it now. And he said it isn't all associated with the badge, but there you go. And Jules was saying something that I don't want the AI to pick up on. So yes. All right. So we'll move on a little bit from that news, and we'll go on here to other. And we are at basically close to the halfway point. If you would retweet and share, that would be great. Now, over the weekend, about 100 plus, I think it was about 117, I believe it is, doctors and staff got suspended without pay, I believe, from the Houston hospital because they refused to take the badge. Well, this judge, who is a Reagan-appointed judge, had this to say about it. Judge dismisses their badge mandate lawsuit by the staff of Houston Hospital, and said in a 4-page opinion, U.S. District Judge Lynn Hughes wrote that firing the employees as a result of their refusal to take the jab would not amount to wrongful termination. Under Texas law, an employee is considered to have been wrongfully terminated if fired solely for refusing to perform an illegal act. Let's see, I guess Lynn, I don't know if it's a man or woman. Bridget said that she was forced to be injected with the jab or be fired. This is not coercion. The Methodist is trying to do their business of saving lives without giving them the virus, Hughes said. Really choose to accept or refuse it. However, if she refuses, she will simply need to work elsewhere. Now, I will have to say, hey, Danielle, I've had in my career and when I was a practicing attorney, I did come up upon judges who were so removed from reality that they think that going out and just getting a new job is all you got to do, or why in the world would you sign that contract? Nobody in their right mind would do that. Well, sometimes people with families will do things because they need the money to feed themselves and their families. I know that's hard to understand for some people. But these people who are working at a hospital are going to find it very difficult now to go to another hospital and get a job. What I don't understand is this. I know, or correct me if I'm wrong, that Texas recently signed an order that said you can't even ask somebody if they've taken the jab, right? So why are we now trying to force it upon these people, an experimental, emergency use approval only type of thing? Why are we doing that to these people now at this hospital without some repercussions from, for onto the hospital? I think the Texas law, we need to look at that, and maybe those people, I don't know why they didn't rely on that law, or if the law, it doesn't pertain to some businesses. I thought it pertained to every private business in Texas, that they couldn't even ask you if you had it. So I would say to those people, maybe the better thing would have been to just refuse to answer that question, or get a lawyer if they asked you that question. I mean, something is really wrong here. And also trying to force something on people that has not even been approved by the FDA. I don't know where this Reagan-appointed judge gets off doing that, but obviously they need to appeal this. We're still waiting for autopsy report on the young man, 25, that died last week, my friend's grandson, Sally said. Yeah, Sally, I'm interested to know, again, what happened whenever you have those results. Okay. And here's some other things that you should be aware of, not that you aren't already. Bring this up. This is U.S. water and power are shockingly vulnerable to cyber hacks. Heard about this before, like Los Angeles Department of Water and Power was hacked in 2018. It took 6 hours to get out. And, for the longest time, we were so afraid that people were going to attack the water supply. I know there's a lake in San Diego that used to be cordoned off because that's where part of the water supply came from for San Diego. And they were afraid that people were going to poison the water in some way. So, a lot of things are starting to happen that, I don't know, take it for what it is. I mean, it's a sign of the times that we're in, but it's also very predictable. I mean, first you get a badge, right? Then you have issues with that. Then we can take away your water and power. Well, gosh, everybody needs water. And then what about the food supply? Oh, yeah, that's going to be affected too. So again, it's the sign of being in the end times about what's happening, what people are doing, and it's craziness all the way around, but not anything that we shouldn't have suspected. All right. So now with Israel, as you probably have heard, Benjamin Netanyahu is out after 12 years. The Knesset voted to approve the new government formed by Yamina leader Naftali Bennett and Yesh Atid chairman Yair Lapid. Bennett is now going to be the prime minister for 2 years and then Lapid for 2. And I think that was probably really shocking to Netanyahu. I think he thought he was going to pull something out at the last minute, but after 4 times of trying to get a prime minister. Now, history was made as the Arab-Israeli Ram party joins with the Bennett-Lapid coalition. So Mansour Abbas made history on Wednesday night as the first Arab-Israeli leader in half a century to sign a deal to sit in a coalition government. Now, I think you have to ask by one vote, you have to ask yourself, was this necessary in order for the Antichrist to come on the scene and enter into a deal with Israel, the deal? Perhaps Netanyahu never would have entered into an agreement like that. And so he had to be removed in order for that to happen. But President B said the climate change was our biggest threat, but look at these hacks that are going on during this administration. We didn't hear about hacks under President Trump. Well, according to the faux president, Brian, that's not a big deal. It's not a threat for him. You know, if that's going according to your plan, you know, things that go according to your plan aren't a threat to you. So climate change is the agenda here. And things have to fall in order for the climate change agenda to be pushed forward. I don't know if that's good for Israel. Bennett actually betrayed Bibi. Yeah, it doesn't mean it's good for Israel, Danielle, but B is the biggest threat to the world. Sally said, they say this new leader is a far right leader. Yes. So we'll just have to wait and see. Lord, soften hearts that they may turn towards you. Absolutely, Judy. We'll have to wait and see what this means for Israel, what it means about a new agreement, the deal. And I guess I was listening to JD yesterday. If you didn't hear JD, you really ought to hear JD from yesterday. He was talking about how, you know, the Jews in Israel, they want a temple and they want it badly, and they'll be willing to do almost anything to get their temple built. And so this may be a way, you know, for them to do that with the signing of the agreement. I don't believe that the Israel military supports their new leader. I believe in Benjamin Netanyahu will be back in office soon. I don't know how, but soon. Yeah, Brian, I don't know about that. You know, people are expecting President Trump to walk back in office on August, because that's the big talk going around, and I don't think that's going to happen. We need to worry about the U.S. only, James said. Well, it's not worrying about Israel, James. It's keeping your eye on Israel to know what is going to be happening in the end times, because the Bible talks about Israel. Israel is a chosen people, and that's why it's important to understand what's happening in Israel so you know what biblically is happening. Could this be when Trump says the best is yet to come? Is this the start? Robin, I go by facts. I don't go by feelings. I don't go by what a letter of the alphabet is talking about and things of this nature. I don't know. You know, people think that Trump makes letters of the alphabet signs, that he's coming back in August and yada, 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 yada. Okay, here's what I know. Trump's not in office, and neither is Netanyahu. We'll see where it goes from there. That's the only two things that I know for sure. Other than what's going to happen after that, I have no idea. The world is so crazy right now that who knows? Seriously, who knows? All right. Let me bring this up. I don't know how many of you eat at McDonald's, but if you do, you may want to think twice about it. Hey, Kathy McPherson, did you hear Netanyahu slammed the president on the faux president on his way out. I heard it. I didn't listen to his speech, but he was kind of. I have to say, Judy, he was sucking up to the faux B. So I'm not sure. Other than just being a politician, why he would say that, because they're all sucking up together. That's what politicians do. All right. So Bill Gates is a potato farmer hoeing for McDonald's fries. So apparently Bill Gates now is supplying McDonald's with their potatoes for their French fries. It's like you need to ask yourself why the fourth richest man in the world is buying up all this land, farming. Of course, he's not getting his hands dirty, but farming and then selling potatoes to McDonald's and making even more money. But what's in those potatoes? Anything? GMO, non-GMO? And why is he doing it? I mean, it's insanity. I guess if you're that rich, you need to make more money. I don't know. And you go from pushing badges, pushing IT, and now you're in food. Does it make sense to you? My friend we prayed for last week passed away Wednesday night. Please keep her family in your prayers. Wow, Kathy. Thank you all. Sally said, I don't eat at McDonald's after CEO said everyone not wearing veils should be arrested and put in jail. I mean, it's going to come a time where we're not probably going to be eating at a lot of these places because they just keep getting worse and worse. And if they start in with the passport thing, that's going to be difficult for many people. And I feel illegal. I think Benjamin Netanyahu believed President B had something to do with him being ousted as prime minister. Well, Brian, that's a good guess, because Obama did everything he could to interfere with the elections in Israel to get Benjamin Netanyahu out. But of course, that's legal when he does it. It's not legal when anybody else does it. Danielle said, nope, doesn't make sense. Yeah, it just does not make sense. Judy said, I'm so sorry, Kathy, for your loss with your friend. All right. So here is a guy in Seattle, the autonomous zone. This man's son on the left here, this man's son was killed a year ago, and he was in the chop zone. You remember that. And he was getting ready for the anniversary of his son's death in Seattle when there was a shooting. 2 people were killed and 2 others were wounded, including Horace Anderson, who suffered a gunshot wound to his face. Horace is the father of Lorenzo Anderson, who was killed in Seattle a year ago. So these people in Seattle are still terrorizing Seattle. The man loses his son, and now he goes back and he's shot in the face. I don't know anymore what his condition is in the hospital. Tim said Gates will resell all that land to China for a huge profit. Failing this, he will lease it to China. I believe that too, Tim, because he's buying up a lot of the farmland, like most of the farmland in America. And we're just sitting there going, oh, okay. He's buying up farmland. And yeah, right. He's not going to keep it. He may be doing something with it now and hopes to lease it out. But there's something totally up with that. And it's the food supply. I haven't shopped at Publix since David Hogg had a die-in in their store, and they withheld their NRA donation, Sally said. Wow. Oh my God, he was a Hannity. Yeah, he was on Hannity several times. And like I said, now he got shot in the face. His son is dead. And obviously these people are still terrorizing Seattle, and nothing's being done about it. It's insanity, absolute insanity. And again, if anybody hears about his condition, let me know. I haven't heard anything about how he's doing. All right, so let's go into another country, which is right here in the USA. Let me see if I can get it up here. Now that's interesting. Okay, let's try this again and see if I can get this up here, because this is interesting if this has been removed. which wouldn't surprise me, but let's just check and see. All right. So this is Fulton County. It says the Fulton County election official admits the chain of custody documents missing for 2020 absentee ballots deposited in drop boxes. So in a stunning admission about the critical chain of custody for absentee ballots deposited into drop boxes in November 3rd election, a Fulton County election official told this is the Georgia Star News on Wednesday that a few forms are missing and that some procedural paperwork may have been misplaced. Okay, so if you want to, you can go look that up if you want to read that document. So, boy, now we're getting problems coming out in Georgia. How strange is that? I thought Georgia was just fine. He's planning on making solvent green for food. Oh, that's great. All right. Now, we always talk about maybe moving to Florida and Texas because of, they're more of a freedom state after we've been shut down and still having issues. But I found this morning, and maybe Nevada in certain places isn't looking so bad. 2 Nevada counties go constitutional. Elected commissioners in 2 Nevada counties at the Bill of Rights will be upheld in their jurisdiction, even if it means standing against unconstitutional acts by state and federal authorities. So in Elko County on June 2nd, abuse of the constitutionally protected rights of citizens in Landers County will be dealt with as criminal activity. Under the leadership of the constitutionally minded sheriffs and elected commissioners, the 2 rural counties decided to become constitutional counties where the rights of citizens will be protected from all attacks. And they go down and they list orders for citizens from their free exercise. First Amendment's not going to be allowed. Orders depriving its citizens life, liberty, and property without due process and under the Fifth Amendment, not going to be allowed. They're not going to be having them register personal firearms under any circumstances. No confiscation of firearms, and on and on and on. So thank God for those people in 2 little counties in Nevada. But it's people, Wayne says. Missouri is a great state to move to, but I believe you said that you don't like the cold. Oh, I hate the cold, Brian. I grew up in North Carolina, froze to death practically, and I really don't want to go back to that if I don't have to. Information on the California recall. Gavin Newsom and the Democrats are changing the recall rules in the middle of Gavin Newsom, that cheat in plain sight, and then wonder why people lack trust in our elections. We just learned Gavin Newsom and the legislature will ram through a new bill, AB 152, to give him total control over the date of the recall vote. And there's nothing really that we can do because they have a super majority. So we're kind of sitting here, and they will play with that and do whatever they want to do. Also, it has been brought to everybody's attention and was even mentioned in J.D. Farag's message over the weekend that Gavin Newsom says that a badge passport is going to be coming soon, and that businesses can use it if they want to, and they don't have to use it if they don't want to. Nye County has a constitutional sheriff, Woody said. When the truth comes out about the election, we must encourage people to not do dumb stuff. Well, we always encourage that, Judy, but, people have always been known to do dumb stuff, unfortunately. Don't wait too long to move to Texas or Florida. I know, Tim. I don't know. I honestly don't know with the way things going, if it's really going to matter too much for those of us who think that God's return is imminent. All right. It's only messed up in Clark County and Carson City and Reno area, Woody said. All right. It's Bible time. It's hard to believe we got here so fast, but we are on Genesis chapter 6. So if you could turn there in your Bibles. The wickedness and judgment of man. Wow. that apply for today? Okay. Now it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth and daughters were born to them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were beautiful. And they took wives for themselves of all whom they chose. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not strive with man forever, for he is indeed flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God came in to the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. These were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown. Then the Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intent of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. The Lord was sorry that he had man on the earth. Can you imagine that? God is sorry that he made us. And I mean, doesn't that just break your heart to hear that? And he was grieved in his heart. So the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, creeping thing and birds on the air, for I am sorry that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. This is a genealogy of Noah. Noah was a just man, perfect in his generations. Noah walked with God, and Noah begot 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The earth also was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. So God looked upon the earth, and indeed it was corrupt. Nothing changes. For all flesh had corrupted their way on the earth. And God said to Noah, the end of all flesh has come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Make yourself an ark of gopher wood. Make rooms in the ark and cover it inside and outside with pitch. And this is how you shall make it. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, its width 50 cubits, and its height 30 cubits. You shall make a window for the ark, and you shall finish it to a cubit from the above, and set the door of the ark in its side. You shall make it with lower, second, and third decks. And behold, I myself am bringing floodwaters on the earth to destroy from under heaven all flesh, in which is the breath of life. Everything that is on the earth shall die. But I will establish my covenant with you, and you shall go into the ark, you and your sons, your wife, and your sons' wives with you. And of every living thing of all flesh, you will bring 2 of every sort into the ark, to keep them alive with you. They shall be male and female. Of the birds after their kind, of animals after their kind, and of every creeping thing of the earth after its kind. 2 of every kind will come to you to keep them alive. And you shall take for yourself of all food that is eaten, and you shall gather it to yourself, and it shall be food for you and for them. Thus Noah did according to all that God commanded him. Then the Lord said, chapter 7, then the Lord said to Noah, come into the ark, you and all your household, because I have seen that you are righteous before me in this generation. You shall take with you 7 each of every clean animal, a male and his female, 2 each of animals that are unclean, a male and his female, also 7 each of the birds of the air, male and female, to keep the species alive on the face of all the earth. For after 7 more days, I will cause it to rain on the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and I will destroy from the face of the earth all living things that I have made. And Noah did according to all the Lord commanded him. And Noah was 600 years old when floodwaters were on the earth. God, can you imagine being 600 years old? Oh, so Noah, with his sons, his wife, and his sons' wives, went into the ark because of the waters of the flood. Animals, of animals that are unclean, of birds, and of everything that creeps on the earth, 2 by 2, they went into the ark to Noah, male and female, as God had commanded Noah. And it came to pass after 7 days that the waters of the flood were on the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, the 17th day of the month, on that day, all the fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened, and the rain was on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. On the very same day, Noah and Noah's sons Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and Noah's wives and the 3 wives of his sons with them entered the ark. They and every beast after its kind, all cattle after their kind, every creeping thing that creeps on the earth after its kind, and every bird after its kind, every bird of every sort. And the ark to Noah, 2 by 2, of all flesh, in which is the breath of life. So those that entered, male and female, of all flesh, went in as God had commanded him, and the Lord shut him in. Now the flood was on the earth 40 days. The waters increased and lifted up the ark, and it rose high above the earth. The waters prevailed and greatly increased on the earth, and the ark moved about on the surface of the waters. And the waters prevailed exceedingly on the earth, and all the high hills under the whole heaven were covered. The waters prevailed 15 cubits upward, and the mountains were covered. And all flesh died that moved on the earth, birds and cattle and beasts and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth, and every man, and in whose nostrils was breath of the spirit of life. All that was on the dry land died. So he destroyed all living things which were on the face of the ground, both man and cattle, creeping thing and bird of the air. They were destroyed from the earth. Only Noah and those who were with him in the ark remained alive, and the waters prevailed on the earth 150 days. Then Noah and every living thing and all the animals that were with him in the ark. And God made a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters subsided. The foundations of the deep and the windows of heaven were also stopped, and the rain from heaven was receded. And the waters receded continually from the earth. At the end of the 150 days, the waters decreased. Then the ark rested in the 7th month, the 17th day of the month, on the mountains of Ararat. And the waters decreased continually until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the 1st day of the month, the tops of the mountains were seen. So it came to pass at the end of 40 days that Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made. Then he sent out a rain which kept going to and fro until the waters had dried up from the earth. He also sent out for himself a dove to see if the waters had receded from the face of the ground. But the dove found no resting place for the sole of her feet, and she returned into the ark to him, for the waters were on the face of the whole earth. So he put out his hand and took her and drew her into the ark to himself. And he waited yet another 7 days, and again he sent the dove out from the ark. Then the dove came to him in the evening, and behold, a freshly plucked olive leaf was in her mouth. Noah knew that the waters had receded from the earth. So he waited yet another 7 days and sent out the dove, which did not return again to him anymore. And it came to pass in the 601st year, in the 1st month, the 1st day of the month, that the waters were dried up from the earth, and removed the covering of the ark, and looked, and indeed the surface of the ground was dry. And in the 2nd month, on the 27th day of the month, the earth was dried. Then God spoke to Noah, saying, Go out of the ark, and you and your family and your sons' wives with you. Bring out with you every living thing of all flesh that is with you, birds and cattle and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth, so that they may abound on the earth and be fruitful and multiply on the earth. So Noah went out, and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives with him. Every animal, every creeping thing, every bird, and whatever creeps on the earth, according to their families, went out of the ark. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and took of every clean animal and every clean bird, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And the Lord smelled a soothing. Then the Lord said in his heart, I will never again curse the ground for man's sake. Although the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth, nor will I again destroy every living thing as I have done. While the earth remains, time and harvest, cold and heat, winter and summer, and day and night shall not cease. Amen. Wow. All right. So we are going to stop there. Gosh, that would not do that on the chat. Okay. Kiss Bob for me. Okay, Melanie. Lord, we adore you. May your name be lifted up throughout the world. May your thoughts and your hearts be focused only on you. Your worldly distractions only turn us to you. Glory to you, Lord. Amen, Judy. God must be very sorry that so many became Marxist Democrats following Satan, Ewity said. Hey, Rue. Yeah, it's a shame, but the unicorn played too long and didn't make it on the boat. Wayne. All right, everybody. If you will, go ahead, please, and share this. And God willing, we will be back here tomorrow. And you're so welcome, Sally. And on the way out here, I'll give you like a minute to talk to each other. And see you again tomorrow. Take care.